Hey, I have a serious question for you. Are you beginning to feel Christmassy? Are you beginning to feel holiday party spirit? Oh my God, this is so exciting. I can hear Jingle Bells, Mariah Carey's on the turntable feeling. So old school. I didn't say shuffle, did I? I said turntable. Anyway, I have been to so many Christmassy events in November, and I think November's too soon to feel Christmassy, right? It is, except when it comes to makeup. I am so old school, I'm pretty boring, I have a classic look, demi-matte, bit satin, not too much shimmer, but then I get sent so much exciting, shimmery, paletty makeup that I thought I'd share it with you. Because if you're going to go a little bit crazy one time of the year, why not make it the party season in December? So even if you're completely over Christmas by Christmas Day, at least you've been partied out in a palette, and I'm here to guide you through the best ones. Some of them are fairly outrageous. Let's be honest here. Where do I start? I'll start with Pat McGrath, because Pat McGrath Labs, in my opinion, make the most covetable palettes known to mankind, and you will only know this not if you've seen them, not if you've seen tutorials. You'll only know this if you've picked them up. They are so heavyweight, so luxurious, so gorgeous, and I want to show you the sort of packaging they come in and the sort of outrageous colours you can get. So this is a perfect case in point. This is something that, let's be honest here, anybody in their teens and 20s would go absolutely wild for. But actually they give a nice colour accent and a really good payoff. So what you've got is you've got all the sex appeal of a young, funky Instagram makeup range, but with that heavyweight, beautifully constructed colour payoff that grown-up makeup has. They're a fair amount of money, but they are absolutely gorgeous. This is the Pat McGrath's Mothership Subversive La Vie en Rose eye palette, and I want to do some colour swatches for you to show you the level of payoff. So what you've got here is you've got one satin, two high shimmer and 3 matte colours. And I'm going to do that, and I can hardly bear the fact that I'm going to do this. I'm going to stick my fingers in a Pat McGrath palette. And I know that makeup bloggers and YouTubers do this the whole time, but to me it feels slightly sacrilegious. Doing this is almost the equivalent of going up and touching Pat McGrath's face. I mean, I don't know if you've ever met Pat McGrath, but she has a sort of Oprah type aura around her, and there's this sort of parting of the waves wherever she goes. And I know her, I've known her for years. I still wouldn't just go up and go, "Hey Pat, let me touch your face." I feel like the palettes deserve the same respect. Anyway, let's start. Okay, so what you've got is you've got that gorgeous, and this is what I mean by the pigment payoff. You've got that 3D effect. Petrol on water effect, which is just beautiful. That peach is absolutely lovely. Also, I love, look at her references. You can tell she's the same age as me. She doesn't look the same age as me, obviously, but she's got that sort of punk 80s Studio 54 aura, and I just love, if you follow her on Instagram, somebody asked me the other day, am I ever impressed by following brands on Instagram? And I'm like, well, not really. Pat McGrath is just such a creative, clever, subversive Instagram account, and a lot of the times I just like her sort of cut and paste images of sort of Debbie Harry and Andy Warhol and Studio 54 and punks and that sort of era that I grew up desperately wanting to be when I was a teenager. Here's the dark brick red colour. I mean, that's a serious colour payoff. They really, really are. Here's the bright pink. Now, I obviously would probably wear that as a blush, but it is an eye palette. Who says that you can't mix and match powders wherever you go? The purple. I mean, I feel like this is Jo Jones in a palette here. Now, the purple looks matte in the palette, but actually has a shimmer to it. It's really lovely. And then there's a sort of dusty pink shade. Again, looks demi-matte in the palette, is actually satin, and then there's a full-on block of 24 karat gold, and there they all are. Pretty lovely actually, aren't they? They are really lovely. Okay, I can't resist now. I'm going to put some of that gold on my eye. Just going to put it in the inner corner. Oh, look at that. You know, they're those powders that somehow cling to the skin and stay in place, so you don't actually get a lot of drop with them. Just going to blend that out. You see, I must be feeling Christmassy. I'm putting gold on. I mean, that's pretty gorgeous, right? That sort of inner highlight. Got to put it on the outer corner now as well to match. I mean, they are nice colours. If you're going to a Christmas party and you're going to splash out, stick with Mother, that's what I say. Really good pigment payoff. No wonder professional makeup artists love them. Other products that I'm loving, that I've seen that come in that are just fun. This is the Becca palette, and it's their Becca Christmas palette. But interestingly enough here, Becca obviously do all types of makeup, but they're most famous for doing the most sexy highlighter, strokes, shimmer, both for body and face. And so what they've done actually is they've done a party Christmas limited edition highlighter palette. So what you've got in it is you've got Champagne Pop, which is the iconic one that everybody uses and everybody loves. You've got Caramel, Truffle, Berry and Pink Creme, and it's Pop Goes the Glow. Really lovely. Lovely for a young person that really likes highlighter. You know I'm highlight phobic, right? You know for me it's about putting a subtle low lighter onto my skin rather than a full-on shimmer. But you know, let's be honest here, I'm 20 years too old for highlighters. Let's have a look at other eye palettes. You know that Charlotte always does the best Christmas gifts. So this is the Charlotte Tilbury Starry Eyes to Hypnotise palette for this season. It's in a blue finish, and you've got the classic 1, 2, 3. So you've got all the different looks. And what you end up with is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So you have 4 different looks. The way she does it is the 1 is to prime, the 2 is enhance, and the 3 is to smoke. So you can basically build up your look. So if you look here across you've got a gold camel look, prime, enhance, smoke. You've got a sort of rosy, very trendy for this year sort of brick colour, which is prime, enhance, smoke. You've got a really lovely subtle green colour, which would look so beautiful on brown and green eyes, prime, enhance, smoke. And then you've got the classic smoky eye, prime, enhance, smoke. So you've got a smaller block than you'd normally get in the quads, but you've got something that you can play with and have fun with. So Charlotte always does really lovely Christmassy stuff. I mean, if you go on counter, if you're stuck for somebody and you go on counter and the little baubles and the gifts are just absolutely lovely. Bobbi Brown are pushing the boat out this season. Check that out, look. This is their Luxe Gems eyeshadow palette. And do you know what's interesting about this is pretty full on for Bobbi Brown. I always think of Bobbi Brown as being firmly in my camp, which is safe, classic, elegant, gorgeous, timeless, but ooh, look at this. I mean, not only is that a great looking palette, but whoa, look at those shades. So they've really pushed the boat out this year. And again, I'm going to swatch them for you so you can have a look. So let me just make sure that my hands are completely clear of all the Pat McGrath stuff. I mean, they obviously see what people like Pat are doing and, you know, Urban Decay and you know, they're thinking, well, I'm sure that our followers, our customers want something a bit more fun at Christmas. Let's be honest here. So let me show you this lot. Okay, so there's do you know, it's funny when you put your hands across these, because they're that sort of broken, shattered shimmer finish, it doesn't feel smooth to put your hands across. But absolutely amazing colour payoff. Look at that. That's the sort of, I would call that a sort of rose gold. It's not a straightforward gold. It has undertones of sort of rose and blue and purple in it. There's a classic sort of matte, sort of taupe colour, which, you know, is the sort of thing I would normally wear every day. There's a deep purple shimmer, which actually is, oh my God, is completely beautiful. I didn't realise how gorgeous that was until I tested it. In the palette, it looks purpley brown. On, it's a dark smoky brown with an undertow of purple shimmer. So you know, oh, horror of horror, Bobbi Brown are discontinuing my black plum eyeshadow. But that actually is almost like a pumped up party version of it. Kind of quite like that. Here's the slightly cooler shimmery gold. Really lovely, really lovely. There's a blue that scares the hell out of me, but that if Lisa Potter Dixon applied, or Sam or Nick Chapman applied it, I'd be like, oh, I want a blue, petrol blue shimmery eye for Christmas. And actually, do you know what's interesting about that? That goes on darker as well. Look at that. That's really interesting. Sometimes the shimmer sits at the top of palettes and you don't know till you try. And then there's a sort of gorgeous gunmetal colour, which looks absolutely beautiful and that I would wear definitely. Yeah, and that is absolutely lovely, slightly more subtle. So that's interesting actually. That looks fairly scary, but I guess, look at that. I would probably wear every single shade in that. It's only the gold that's got the Pat McGrath overtones. The rest of it is very, very, very wearable. Well done, Bobbi Brown. I like that. I mean, who wouldn't want to get that for Christmas? Also, who wouldn't want to treat themselves to it as well? That is the Luxe Gems eyeshadow palette from Bobbi Brown. You know, things last a long time when your microfiber cloth has trouble taking them off. I've got two other cheek palettes which I want to show you. Benefit always do fun Christmassy special gift party stuff, but actually their cheek leaders is really lovely. It's their mini pink squad. And what you've got is you've got three iconic bestsellers in one palette. California, Tickle and Dandelion. So that one is California, which is the sort of goldy, it's basically orgasm. It's that sort of peach with a hint of gold in it. And then you've got the sort of shimmer in the middle, which is the Tickle, which is a soft shimmer highlighter. And then the absolute classic, really beautiful Dandelion, which is a suits all peach, but more of a hint of pink, much more of a pink matte cheek colour. That's a nice one, you know. It's not so much Christmas palette, but it's a really nice one to give anybody because they are colours that will suit anybody. However, my favourite collection for this time of year has to be the NARS 54 one. So NARS have done a Studio 54 collection, and I'm going to be talking about more of it coming up because we're going to be doing things that you'd like to receive for Christmas. I'm going to be doing them with Jo Jones, and I literally whooped when this collection hit my desk. I'm such a sucker for anything that harks back to when I was growing up. I had an older sister and she used to go clubbing, and I was just so jealous when I was sort of 13, 14. This is the NARS Studio 54 collection. Again, I'm going to go into more detail when I show the Christmas gifts with Jo Jones, because I would be happy to get any of this, as would any woman who is either very culturally aware of the 70s and early 80s, wish they'd grown up in the 70s or early 80s, or is so old they grew up in the 70s and 80s. Look at this. And that is the most beautiful peach coral based pop of 80s, late 70s blush palette. It's really, really lovely. And again, I'm going to swatch them for you because I'm going to put this firmly into my makeup bag when I've finished. So what you've got is you've got a deep orange coral. I mean, these would look beautiful on darker skin tones. I mean, you could wear these as eyeshadows. Look at that colour, so lovely. It's not as shimmery as Orgasm, which I have problems with, but it's a really deep pop of colour. Would look beautiful on a black Asian skin colour, really beautiful. Probably I would have to wear that super subtle and blend it out. There's a gorgeous brick colour in the middle. Let me show you. They all have a very soft shimmer, but when I say soft, I do mean soft. Much less so than Orgasm, so that's the piece at the top there. And then there is a highlighter as well, which is they've got stars all over them, which is why they take a little bit longer for me to, if they're smooth, you get the colour pick up really quickly. If they're a star, if they're in relief, obviously you get less when you apply them. And then there is a beautiful, very subtle actually, which is interesting, very subtle shimmer highlighter, and the three of them together are absolutely beautiful. I bet Sam and Nick could do a gorgeous eye look with that because they're incredibly skilled. But if you wear them together and you blend them out together, interestingly enough, it's launched at this time of year, that would look so beautiful on holiday. That proper sort of, you know, when you don't wear eyeshadow and you've just got liner, lashes on, you've got beautiful sort of gently tanned or bronzed or faux bronze skin, that colour would look beautiful with it. I'm going to go through the rest of the Studio 54 collection when we talk about covetable stocking fillers and gifts, the beauty gifts that Jo and I would love. Now, bearing in mind, I mean, Jo's slightly less sceptical than I am. She gets slightly more excited, but, you know, I get 1 million palettes a year. So for me to like them and share them with you, they've got to be quite exciting. So they are my fun palettes for Christmas. And I have to say, honestly, hand on heart, in terms of eyeshadows, I'm really surprised at how much I love that. I really am. The highlighting palette is just an absolute one to get if you know anybody that is obsessed with highlighters. And then we've got a subtle cheek palette and an over the top cheek palette. However, if you want to go full on and you want to really push the boat out this party season, you're not going to go wrong if you get a Pat McGrath palette. You're really not. They are incredible. That's a medium sized one. They come super sized. That's actually in cardboard. So they come super sized in really heavy black perspex, and they weigh so much. They're beautiful. You wouldn't want to carry one around in your handbag, but you could certainly crack somebody around the head if they got out of line with you. I mean, they're really beautiful. So they are my palettes. I'm going to put them all down below. There will be more Christmassy type palettes when I film with Jo Jones. We are filming in the near future, and we're going to do a whole host of, she's going to India for 3 weeks for Christmas. How very selfish of her. So we're going to bank lots of videos so we can do our year in beauty review. We're going to do some skincare ones, but we're also going to do some Christmassy gift ones just because it's fun. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing, and I'll see you soon. Let's have a palette party.